You said you had a great childhood. Do you ever feel bad when you hear comedians tell horror stories about growing up?
Nah. It's
such a fun show. I want you to bring it back because honestly, one of the highlights of the show for me was being in the audience or being on stage as the drinker, just seeing like these white dudes like get on stage with so much confidence and they just get so pale within like the first like 15 seconds when you say some shit to them, and all their confidence just gets fucking thrown out the window and they don't know how to handle it.
Like, you don't think you're gonna drink that much, and then you're on stage and this guy goes like, "So horse today," and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. I think white people should say the N-word. God, fuck. I remember somebody said that one time and Amy was like, "Get off stage."
I do. I get so, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to give you this time. Bye. There was a guy who said the N-word, a white guy who said the N-word at a mic in New York, and he immediately got punched in the face on stage.
Oh, yeah.
By a comic or by an audience
By a
member?
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was at an open mic, and that's what I think should happen. I don't know.
Got punched by an Asian comic.
But it's like, that's a consequence.
You know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Yo, we are back, baby, here at the Creek and Cave studio.
Another episode of Two Niggas in the Pod. We are here. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel West.
I am your other host, Jordan McDonald. Of course, as always, we got Bad Man, Red Man, Irish Man of the motherfucking year, Potato Man of the year, Jimmy Clifford on the ones and twos.
Yo, what up?
And we have a very, 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 very special guest. I'm super excited to have her in the studio today. The wonderful, the one, the only, the Queen, Amy Shanker.
Hi.
What up? How you
are
living?
you? What's going on?
Shit, just another day thugging in the city of Austin, Texas.
Same.
Yeah, a bunch of thug shit. When you walked up, I was like, I like your orange dress, and you were like, it's red, and I was like, oh shit, I'm colorblind, but it's orange.
Yeah, that's orange.
I feel like it's a reddish.
It's like UT
Maybe
orange,
you're colorblind, Amy.
Do you think this is red?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a dark red. Yeah, like a.
I feel like this is like a maroon.
Isn't maroon red, pretty much?
Not like your shoes are red to me.
Yeah, shoes
Yeah,
red.
those are red.
But like that's not.
This is a red, right here. A
That's
red light.
red.
That's orange.
That's red.
Yeah, no, that's red.
That's orange.
Orange.
Your dress is closer to
You're-
that
yeah,
than it
I
is
think
to
it's
this.
between these two.
I think Amy's colorblind.
I think you're an asshole for pointing shit out that doesn't need to be pointed out.
My bad, dog. Yo, wonderful comedian.
Is this why you brought me here?
Pretty much. No, you're one of my favorite people and favorite Jewish people that I've ever met. I had to put that out there because
How many Jewish people do you know?
I actually know a good amount of Jewish. I used to dance at bar mitzvahs and stuff in LA, so I've been well versed in y'all's culture.
Yeah, we can't dance. We have to hire.
Yeah, y'all hire black people to come and dance and
Yeah.
make it cool, or else y'all won't get on the dance floor.
We refuse. My parents
Yeah.
took dance lessons for years and years, though.
Yeah, what kind of dance lessons?
All of them.
Like swing and.
swing and ballroom and like
Did you have a bar mitzvah? Bat
a
mitzvah?
bat mitzvah. Yeah.
Yeah, where there are black people at your bat mitzvahs.
There weren't black people where I grew up.
Yeah, well,
Well,
because
Chris Thomas.
Chris Thomas. Shouts out to Chris Thomas.
Hi,
It
Chris.
sounds like a brother. Sounds like a brother.
He's doing good. Pretty
Because
good.
I would be at these bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs and no black guests but black dancers, and I was like, all right, this feels.
We didn't. No,
Yeah.
I grew up in Kansas, like in Overland Park, Kansas, and
Yeah.
I was like, they're like, we have a Jewish person in our class.
So there's not a big Jewish community.
It
in
wasn't
Kansas,
a lot of
I'm
like
guessing?
ethnicity, like diversity, I guess.
But they made sure to call you out.
But we
Yeah.
knew when we were the one. They're like, and just so you know,
Yo.
you're the weird one.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
You had a comedy album just
Yeah.
released recently.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's called
That-
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Shot here in the Creek in the Cave, right?
Yeah, I shot
Yeah.
here at the Creek in the Cave, and I called it Unbelievable because everyone after shows usually is like, was that really true?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Were you really a teacher? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you we're just like gonna go through like the Amy Shanker timeline of her comedy shit and other saucy stuff. So you started off as a teacher. Were you doing comedy when you started as a teacher, or were you like, fuck these kids, nigga, I'm gonna go tell these jokes?
I started comedy year like 10 or so of teaching.
Okay.
So I taught for 10 years without having any real direction.
Where did you
hated
teach?
teaching. Chicago.
Oh, where did you
I
live?
taught English, high school English.
Oh, okay.
And
She taught Chicago. She taught.
I taught Chicago
Yeah.
high school English.
You definitely give English teacher though. Like I couldn't see you as any other kind of teacher.
Really? Not art?
Definitely not art.
No,
The art teacher would never like fire back at the students. Like the art teacher's the one that gets bullied. You know, like, hey kids, we're gonna make paper mache snowflakes.
Like, oh.
Okay, well I'm glad that you expressed yourself.
I would be like, ooh.
No, the English teacher's like,
don't
I know all the
diagram
words
that
to
sentence.
insult you with.
I used to, when my kids would curse too much, I would make them like look up the etymology of the word and come back and report it to the class.
Oh, that's incredible.
I love that. I
Did you have like wild kids and shit in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was what's one of the wildest things that stuck out, or just some asshole kid? You're like, yo, fuck that kid. I can't stand you. But you can say
I
it
had
now.
2 kids and I was like, these are bad people. Like this is, you can usually find at least one redeeming quality about someone that just can get you through the year with them.
Yeah.
But like I had 2 kids and I was like, you're a horrible person. You're
not gonna
kill
do anything
somebody,
in
I
this
bet.
life.
Yeah, one of them is currently actually serving life in prison.
Damn.
Okay, turn it
I don't know what happened to the other one.
Did you let them know like you're not a good person?
No.
Oh.
But I let their mom know. I was like, you gotta fix your kid. Because they're psycho.
Were you ever like, my job's to teach you to read so you're not so bored in prison later on?
Yeah. Basically. You're not going to be able to educate yourself if you can't
I
read.
like picking up books. Thanks, Miss Shanker.
Yeah. Oh, I hope he never gets out. So.
Oh, damn. So like what was the transition from teaching to comedy? Well, because that's a different type of I guess in a way teachers are like performing and being comedians and shit to a degree, I guess.
No, I mean, I don't think so. I feel like
did you talk shit to your kids? Like, were you the cool teacher? Were you the cool English teacher? Were you like the?
It depends. If you got sarcasm,
yeah, yeah.
But if you didn't get my students hated me or loved me, but there wasn't a lot of in between.
No in between, just like either.
And it's like, do you understand sarcasm? You like me? Do you not understand it? You hate me?
Okay, yeah. Is it still like that for you just now?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, well, I've been in New York for so long and then moving to the South, it's like just different, I don't know, people understand like nuances differently.
Yeah.
And here, I feel like men are more sensitive to tone and looks. And in New York, it's like flirting almost.
Yeah. Well, because it's way different energies, New York and the South.
Yeah.
You know, you a bunch of bumpkins out here and stuff, and you know, homegrown, home-fed, raised.
Yeah,
small,
but it's
small
like
town shit.
And it's almost like they take things as like a challenge first instead of being like, "Oh, new person, let's go to see what that's about."
You probably
just be
hurting
like,
their southern
this
pride.
cunt.
So what was before coming down south? Did you had you been here times before, or had you visited or lived out here for any amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, I've been when the creek, because the creek used to be in New York, and so I was going there a lot when it was there, and then when it opened here, I just started coming down here, you know, during the pandemic because there was nothing really happening in New York except for the park shows and stuff like that. Everything was outside, and so I started to get to know Austin a little more, and I really liked it. It reminded me more of like where I grew up, like just like a tighter knit community, I think, which is kind of what I was looking for a little bit more, because in New York it's a bit easier to get like lost in the mix. And
you think that's a New York thing or just an East Coast thing?
I think just with the sheer size of New York, it's a New York thing. But yeah, I've been in New York for like 8 or 9 years. I was just like looking for a bit of a change, at least for a little while. And so just came down here for a minute. We'll see how that goes.
Well, I feel like that's a big Southern thing and a big Texas thing. Like, community is very big for Southern folk and stuff. Like, I don't know, you need your people, you need your tribe, buddy.
Yeah.
I feel like New York is very just like kind of.
I don't know. I think it's more. There's just so many like transplants in New York, but you eventually like find your group. It's just like I'm closer to my family in the Midwest here, and I kind of like that a little bit, and because I grew up with a really like tight knit family, so I want that. I want to be like closer to them, and it's just a little bit better like this, but. Yeah, I have a really good tight group of friends in New York, but if I were to be like, oh, I need a family member here, it would take a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you make after Chicago, did you go straight to New York? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How was that transition?
Yeah, I moved with 2 other comics.
Oh wow, yeah.
Josh Johnson, Jeff Sheen, and
you introduced me to Josh Johnson. I've been watching him for some years.
Yeah,
now.
Josh is cool great. Yeah, dude. He
super
he's
duper
so
cool.
funny. He right when we got there, he got a job writing for a late night show. Then he went over to the Daily Show. But he's great. His work ethic is like fantastic, and he was somebody to kind of just admire his like career trajectory because he was just so focused, you know.
Yeah. So how was that like seeing Josh kind of blow up the way he has, and you know, y'all being as close as y'all are?
I mean, I've loved it for him because he really, I hope he's watching this, he has just no other hobbies or things to do.
Yeah. We'll make a clip out of it and tag him and be like, hey Josh, watch this shit, dog. Watch this shit, nigga. Come to 2 Nap too. You know.
He's very comedy centered, and so you know he really just hit the ground running, and so I'm glad that his career has gone so well because if it hadn't, he'd probably be homeless.
Oh yeah, that's so many comedians probably too.
100%.
So many comedians
well,
are
a lot
homeless.
are. Yeah.
I was on the verge of that shit almost this month. I didn't know how the fuck I was gonna pay rent, nigga. But shit, God did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you look at the homeless encampment across the street and then the patio of the creek, they're really not that.
Yeah,
different.
Not a lot
too far off, especially after midnight.
We just have chairs.
Yeah, and we're fenced in. We're fenced in. You know,
they have tents. We have chairs.
Yeah.
They're more sober outside.
Yeah.
They have guns. We get shot.
But there's definitely more needles out there.
Yeah,
definitely more needles out there. There's probably some in the creek. I don't know who, but you know, keep that shit away from me, dog. Keep that shit away. So what was what's just like? Because you've performed in the Bahamas. You've done London before too, right? Like you've been all around. What's some of the coolest shit that you've done in comedy in your illustrious career, where it's just been like, yo, this was like just the dope shit. Just some player shit. You're just like, yo, nigga, I can't believe I'm doing this right now because I'm funny.
Yeah, those 2 things have been great. Top Secret was really, really fun in London. I got to open for Colin Quinn at a comedy festival, which was really, really fucking cool. Like that was insane. I've met some just like huge names that I grew up listening to. Like I met Andrew Dice Clay once. I like hung out with him for a night, and it's like it was just like you have this perception of how people are. He was one of the nicest people I've ever met. Just so nice, and it was shocking because I was like expecting him to be like this, you know, and he was just really a sweet person.
What'd y'all do? Did y'all eat?
We got some pizza.
Pizza? Hell yeah.
Walked around, stuff like that. It was nice. It was just after a show.
Yeah.
I get to work Vegas sometimes, and I really like that. And the first time I worked Vegas, I was at Brad Garrett's at the MGM, and my parents came, and that was really cool because when I was teaching, they were always like, just don't quit teaching for comedy. I'm like, I'm not. And then I was like, I'm gonna quit. They're like, we know. And then though, when I was walking around like the MGM, like when we walked past that golden lion, like that huge lion, my dad just like stopped in his tracks, and he's like, I can't believe you're working Vegas.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because for them, like Vegas, you know, in the 60s, 70s,
that
like
was
coming
the place
up was like
you perform
huge,
in Vegas,
and it still is, and it's just like really, really cool. Because especially at like Brad Garrett's, there's it's a week long, and so however many weeks are in the year, and then they just do, it's just a host, middle, and headliner, so they just hire that select amount of people every single year. So it's really nice to be included in that, because I've been lucky enough to be able to go back every year. Yeah.
When you told them that you wanted to do comedy, did they think you were funny already?
Yeah. Yes. But they were like...
Were you a funny kid?
I was quiet.
Quiet?
I was more like observing. Well, my older brother was really chatty, and so I didn't get much in.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, "How was your day, Amy?" And he'd be like, "She's fine." Here's my day. And I'd be like, "Nope."
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, I was pretty quiet, I would say. But I was in my head a lot, and I just was very imaginative.
Yeah.
But I think I make a lot of weird faces.
Or did you do like what type of extracurricular stuff?
Here's how quiet I was, is that my third grade teacher told my parents that they should sign me up for like acting classes or something, because I would not talk.
Yeah.
And so they did. And then my fourth grade teacher was like, "I hate your fucking kid." She's the worst.
Was this in Kansas?
Yeah. And then I was a little bit better after that, just slowly.
Was it small town Kansas or like?
No, it was like suburbs.
Suburbs, okay. Because I've been to Kansas once. I went to Topeka.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit?
No, not Topeka.
But then I did go to the only Indian restaurant in Topeka.
What was it called?
No
the
idea.
Only Indian
Probably.
restaurant in Topeka.
And I think they were probably the only Indian people in Kansas, but it was some of the best fucking Indian food I've ever had in my life. It was outrageously fucking good.
Oh, really?
And I was like, how the fuck does Topeka, Kansas have incredible curry, Indian curry? I don't know, nigga, but they doing it.
But they do.
They doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kansas, so what city did you grow up in Kansas?
Overland Park.
Overland Park.
Yeah. It's kind of closer to Missouri.
Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
So more eastern?
Yeah, more
Kansas?
eastern. Yeah. And then I went to Kansas, University of
What
Kansas.
shit pops off in Overland Park, Kansas? What goes down
It's
there?
a really, it's just a nice place to live. Not a lot of controversy.
No controversy,
It's kind of a
wild
little
shit
bubble.
happening?
No.
There had been at least one thing you remember, yo, I can't believe this shit is happening in Overland Park, Kansas, growing up.
Not a lot. It was
Damn.
just
the families love each other out there.
Yeah, we were the safe. My house was the safe house, so all my friends that would get kicked out or whatever would always come over.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so we had I had a great childhood.
Why were your friends getting kicked out? See, they must have been doing some shit.
Yeah, they were doing shit.
Yeah.
I just had a more tolerant family.
You said you had a great childhood. Do you ever feel bad when you hear comedians tell horror stories about growing up?
Nah.
I'm the same way. I had a great childhood. Both parents loved me, and it was like,
I did, man. My parents are still married. They're still happy, and I don't feel bad because I taught for so long and saw so many situations that were legitimately horrible that I would help get my kids out of. That I was like, no, I've already done my time with this stuff.
Damn.
So,
would you ever move back to Kansas?
You've seen all the worst stuff.
Yeah. No, I would never.
Never.
My parents are actually leaving to move. They grew up in St. Louis. They're moving back to St. Louis.
Okay.
Because one of my brothers lives there, and so they're gonna, be closer to family. Because none of their kids live in Kansas City anymore. So it's kind of what the fuck are we still here for?
Kansas just seems like such a random place to grow up.
Really?
And to me, yeah.
It's where Superman grew up.
The one that became paralyzed, or which Superman?
The OG.
Superman.
Superman. I thought one of the actors or something. I was like, which one of these niggas? Which one?
Christopher Reeve.
What?
Yeah. Well, no, because the OG Superman, he fell off a horse and became paralyzed.
Christopher Reeve.
Oh, Christopher Reeve. Yeah. No, not him, but the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite Amy stories is I was in Edinburgh Fringe and Amy came down and she had just been in London. And I was like, Amy, what'd you think of London? Did you love it? She goes, fucking hate the UK. She went on a 20-minute tirade. And I just thought it was so funny. Because compared to most comedians, Amy's very cultured and she learns and reads about all this. She's just
I've been to Europe 6 times before that too.
It
was I was
so
never
funny.
again.
It was just goes on the whole rant. And
Yo, what's
because
your
we got
beef
bed
with the
bugs.
UK?
Because the hotel in London called Inhow London on 2 Macclesfield Road gave us bed bugs. I wrote a joke about it. It's on my album called Unbelievable.
So funny.
So it was just that experience that you were like, fuck.
I was so upset. I was so upset with them because they were like, they're your bed bugs. I was like, I will kill you, bitch. It was, we almost got into another revolution. Yeah.
Wow.
We got.
So is that like your only quarrel with the UK? Is the hotel accusing you of bed bugs? Or do you have more?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, and I don't
that
like.
just fucked up the whole.
Well, they
UK,
have shit food, but
They do
other
have
than
shit
that,
food.
Yeah, well, you just. I feel like you gotta have the perspective of I'm not going to get Southern food. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not looking for Southern food. I'm looking
Well, like,
for
we're just
edible
good
food.
food.
Yeah.
I mean,
just
it's
food
edible.
that's like that you don't need to wash down
with the beer.
with anything, just
Yeah.
because you're like,
Yeah.
Bill Burr had a video he posted the other day that was funny. He goes, I now, having eaten the food in London, I now understand why Gordon Ramsay's so fucking angry all the time.
imagine being able to cook and those are the recipes.
Yeah, I know.
Don't make me nervous. I plan on going to London next summer.
Oh, yeah, you did say
You
you
should
wanna
go.
for a few
Just bring
months.
some.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring mad hot sauce. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna bring mad bottles of hot sauce. I'm like, sir, why do you have 30 bottles of hot sauce? Look, I'm gonna be here for a minute. I heard about y'all shit. Okay,
Yeah, that's
I need some hot sauce in my
You
beans.
gotta hit up all the Jamaican spots out there or something.
Yeah, they got a big Jamaican community in London.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Most of the black people.
Where would you when you go to London and where do you like hang out and stuff? What's
In
the
London?
Amy Shanker spots in London outside of the shit hotel?
I don't know. Now when I'm there, I just try to do comedy, and
Yeah,
Top Secret was really cool. It was like a great place to meet comics and also do comedy. It's like their top spot for comedy, I think. And that was so much fun.
Do you think it's easier to do comedy in the UK?
Yeah.
In comparison, I think
100%.
Americans are just so much better at it that, like, you're on a lineup with 5 or 6 other British people, and then you go up and you're just like, pop, pop.
Yeah, because you tell more jokes per minute, I guess. But it's like I feel like London or English comedy is more, it's slower. It's like storytelling but the jokes are more like just the story that happened being funny as opposed to like putting tags in and stuff like that, where we like tag the shit out of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you need to switch up your set or your like kind of approach to how you perform when you are in the UK?
No, maybe a little bit. I think I do a sentence or two to warm up to get them just used to like me being a little bit more aggressive probably on stage and like that, but that's about it.
Yeah. How was the comedy in the Bahamas?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I've never had.
Is that the only comedy club in the city? What city were you in the Bahamas?
We were in Nassau.
Oh, Nassau.
With the pirates.
Yeah.
It was.
Funky Nassau. Mm-hmm. Blues
It
Brothers
was
2000.
there was never a show that was the same any of the nights because the crowds were all so different.
Yeah.
Like
was it a
one
bunch
night-
of people traveling or was it?
Yeah, for the most part, it
Locals?
was like people that were staying there. But like some of the nights, like more on weekends, it was like a lot of like the Bahamians would come in, and they would go to the club too. And so it was like a mix that you just were like, how do I even work this show?
Yeah.
But
were there Bahamian comics on the shows too?
the host was Bahamian, but
Did he have a thick accent, or they have a thick accent? He
a
or she?
little accent, but
Yeah.
not like it wasn't like horrible,
I just
like
imagine
horribly
like a
hard to
Bahamian
understand.
comedian. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I got the coconut in no water, bro.
No, it was. There were a lot of New Yorkers there too,
Yeah.
and so it was just like New Yorkers, and then like Midwest wholesome, like we're here with our family and we brought them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why? It was either the most conservative people or just like say whatever you want, but it was different every single night. And my parents came there too because they're like
Oh, hell yeah, yeah. Shit,
and
vacay.
so yeah, so my dad was like, how, he's like, the same set gets such like different reactions every single night. It's just crazy because you're not changing how you deliver, but the crowd is just like wild.
Did you ever have like a set where the crowd was just like not?
Yeah, there was one night when they were like, we don't feel with every single comic. They were like, no.
Yeah, those shows like that are just impossible to avoid. Sometimes Sometimes the crowd
think in a week, it's like you're gonna have one set that's like brutal, and then the rest are good. Yeah. But like, there was one set where it was like this older couple from New York, and they were hilarious. Like they were just so funny. It's like you don't want the crowd work, but then it's like, or you don't want them yelling out. But this dude was like, his name was Jerry. He was one of the funniest people I've met. Yeah. I was like just so entertained talking to him. Mm. And then they had this other old lady with them too. And she was playing into it. Like, I was like, Jerry, is this your wife? And the wife was like, yeah. And then the other old lady goes, what? And then they were all arguing. They were like in their 80s. It was just so funny to watch. Like the chutzpah.
Yeah. So, that's fun. Yeah. What's your favorite place you've done comedy in? Like favorite city or favorite venue? I
mean, that's a good question. Chicago. I really like doing comedy in Chicago because the crowds are like anything goes. They're with you, and they like it for the sake of comedy. I like Denver. The crowds are great. They're comedy crowds.
Denver is fun. Denver is so much fun. I had to, the first time I performed in Denver, I had to kind of turn my energy a little down because the mountainous whites were all high and stuff. And they're like, yo, nigga, you coming up here dancing and shit. It's a lot right now, bro. You need to calm down.
Our eyes can't keep up.
Yeah. Mountainous whites.
Yeah. That's Denver, bro. It's mountainous whites. Yeah. A bunch of interracial couples, too.
New York's fun, though, too. New York challenges you. It makes you a better comic, I think, because you're...
What's your spot in New York?
New York Comedy Club.
New York Comedy Club
is my home base, yeah.
Do you feel New York is different when you started versus now?
Yes, 100%.
For better or worse?
I don't know. I think that there's good and bad, honestly, because I think the pandemic changed the layout of the land kind of for comedy in New York a little bit, at least with like how to come up in New York, because all these new kids started like being like, we're going to open a comedy club. You're like, the older people were like, can you just do that? What the fuck have we been doing? Trying to get into clubs. They're just making clubs. What?
Yeah.
So it's jarring. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely changed, but like the vibe has not changed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you feel about the Austin scene compared to all the rest of them?
Well, the only two scenes I know is as well as the Austin scene in Chicago and New York, I would say. So the Austin scene parties like the Chicago scene.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's too much. Because I get caught up. I'm like, I need to calm down. I'm too old for this shit.
That's that Texas shit. We party in Texas.
Yeah, it's this Midwest stuff where it's like, what do we do now?
Yeah. I mean, Chicago's Central Time too, right?
Yeah.
So we all in the same time zone and shit.
Yeah,
too,
I think New York is more like, we got to get home. So we got to be a little bit more aware. I don't know. I don't party as much in New York, I don't think. But
where does the comedy community seem closer? Not just like within your group of people that you like hang out with and are close with, but just in the general sense of the whole comedy community. Which city seems to be kind of have more camaraderie?
I don't know. I think it's different in every city.
I mean, because I started in LA and there's no camaraderie out there.
None.
It sucks. Like I did the Hollywood Improv last year, and afterwards, the show got out 10:30, 11. And I was like, yo, we going to grab some food, we going to grab a beer. They're like, yo, we're going to our apartment. And I was like,
yeah, LA is more of like a early to rise.
Yeah, well, nobody hangs out with each other out there. It seems like I mean, there's like, of course, like the smaller groups of comedians, but just like, hey, y'all trying to grab like some food or beer or anything, or just shoot the shit and just talk shop. And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll just smoke this joint and walk. Get this Uber.
What I've noticed the difference is like, Chicago, New York, Austin specifically, you listen to like what Amy said earlier about her friend Josh. She's doing really well and she's excited about that. I don't think you get that in LA. I think it's like, oh, someone's doing well. That means
animosity.
that I'm not able to have those gigs.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Whereas Austin, you know, like people do well. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. So and so just got such and such. You know.
That's one thing I love about.
But there's a lot of LA people in Austin, so I wonder if that'll shift it.
I think it is definitely shifting already a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed since the mothership opened, in my opinion, I feel like it's been a little bit more cutthroat. You know, like can you believe so and so? You know.
Yeah,
there's a lot
of that shit going on.
But it wasn't when it started. I mean, when I got here, January 2021, people were just like, "Oh my God, you know, this is awesome." Did you hear Dean just opened up a new show in Georgetown?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
right, which is great. You know, I don't know. I think that the support comes differently in the different cities for sure. In New York, I think it's more supportive in the groups, but New York is just too big of a scene to even be one. You know,
there are 4,000 active stand-up comedians in New York.
4,000.
4,000.
Sheesh. How many would you say are in Austin?
Maybe 250.
250.
Like the comic strip up in Upper East Side, they do like. You can just sign up to audition to get passed. And there's so many comedians that sign up that when I was there, I think I signed up in 2019. My audition, it was like April of 2019. My audition was for May of 2020.
Oh, shit.
That's how many comedians there were. Like, it's nuts.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get to do it because the pandemic happened. I'm like, I've been working on my set.
I'm so ready.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this.
Yo, did you like call him up and be like, yo, like I was on the list. I was supposed to perform May. Pandemic happened. Can I like?
I mean, let's be honest. It's a comedy club. They don't answer the phones.
Yeah.
They didn't answer before the pandemic.
Yo, that's funny as hell.
You have to stand in line for like 8 hours. It's fucking.
And it's like the comic strip. It's not even like
it's not like a
huge club.
Yeah, it's not like the club you want to get. It's not like the Cellar or New York Comedy Club. It's like, hey, Seinfeld walked in here in 1986.
Oh,
Isn't that awesome?
You could be on the same stage because it's the same stage.
Yeah, they haven't updated
or nothing.
You walk in,
same microphone and same speaker system too.
All the photos of like, look at how great this club is. It's like Eddie Murphy when he's 22.
Dangerfield when he's still alive.
Yeah, it's a different world.
How many clubs are in New York? Would you say
A
lot?
Probably.
Thinking when I was there, I think it was at least 11
major ones.
Yeah. You have like Comic Strip. New York Comedy Club has 2. The Cellar, Village Underground, Fat Black Pussycat.
They have 4, but they're
Fat Black Pussycat.
Well, they have 4 rooms in the Cellar because they have the Cellar. Because it's Cellar, Village Underground, Fat Black, and then the pool room where they had the pool tables.
Yeah.
And now they just bought the McDonald's.
Oh, they did? That was a shithole, dude. They had a cop in the McDonald's. There's this like famous
McDonald's. Dude, I met this. Okay, New York, dog. There was this famous McDonald's where like just wild things would happen there, and it got shut down during it closed during the pandemic. It was like a 2-story McDonald's.
Yeah.
And the top floor was for the homeless, and then
it was like I'll give you an example.
The bottom floor was also for the homeless.
How bad it was! There was a video that went viral of this McDonald's where someone tried to buy a Big Mac and then pay with a $50 bill or maybe a $100 bill, and they're like, "Yeah, this one specifically does not accept that."
Yeah.
So they're like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm beating someone's ass." One, they hop over the counter and just start laying into the cashier, and then a guy from the back runs up, and it was crazy. It was like he was a fry cook, and then he just kind of takes his hand and goes like this underneath where like they have the French fries, and he pulls out a pipe and he just starts laying into this person. Jeez. And like it was such a bad beating that at this point the customers are like, stop. It's hilarious.
Wait, they laid into the guy that jumped over the counter?
Yeah, and it was like we weren't on his side, but now we are.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I
think you just get pushed too much there.
Yeah.
I went into they opened a Popeyes across the street now, and I went in there like a month ago, and it was just chicken everywhere. I was like, oh no, they moved it to the Popeyes.
No.
And the guy behind the counter, I was like, can I just get like a breast? And he's like, he goes, spicy or regular?
Yeah.
I threw it. I go, regular. And he turned. He goes, I don't know which is which. I go, I'm gonna go. And you just.
But you see some good fights at Popeyes,
Bro,
boy.
another thing about the New York scene is, like, in Austin.
It's weird they don't serve spinach at Popeyes. Anyway.
So the Austin scene is like, there's a bunch of clubs, and pretty much any club could have like a really great night on any night. Whereas in New York, there are some clubs that are like, have been there for 30 years, that the only good nights are bringer shows.
Oh,
is Dangerfield still
No,
there?
they shut down. Dangerfield's closed.
That
but like
makes sense.
Broadway Comedy Club, their only good nights are a bringer.
No, I heard they're doing good now.
Are they?
Yeah, I heard they turned it around.
Good for them, because those here's the thing. I'm not bullshitting you. In order to do this, you'd have to sign up. You would have to bring 5 people, and they would have 30 comics on the lineup, each doing 5 minutes.
God.
And everyone that you brought had to buy 2 drinks minimum, and you weren't allowed to leave at any point of the show. And it was a 3.5-hour show.
Jeez.
So you're sitting there watching the worst comedians you've ever seen do
So
3
bad.
hours. Like, they were so bad. They didn't, you didn't have to send a tape. You just had to bring your people, and you get 5 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably would rather watch that than watch Oppenheimer again.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. It was so bad.
I remember in 2019, I went to a comedy show in New York in this basement of this vegan restaurant, and all them niggas were talking fast as shit. Everybody was just like...
Was it the basement or the back room?
It was a basement. There was
a back room of a Chinese shop that did comedy all the time.
There's a back room of a vegan restaurant too, like around St. Mark's.
Yeah.
I just remember going down the stairs. And like,
Oh, maybe it was the Climat Lounge. It wasn't.
No idea.
Yeah, they sold dumplings.
Now, this was a full-blown vegan restaurant, and the day I was there, they're like, oh, we have a comedy show going on downstairs. And I was like, okay, we'll check it out.
The last bringer show I did, and I clocked this because it was a big moment in my career, I was the only one on the show that didn't clearly have a disability. Like, a debilitating disability.
Clearly.
It was like the worst stutter you've ever heard. Like, funny arm. One guy was in a wheelchair. That took a while to get him on stage.
Oh, fuck.
It was horrible. It was like, my cousin was like, you were the best. Thanks.
All the comics backstage. So what's your issue?
Yeah. I felt like I was on like the set of Maury or something. No.
You were Johnny Knoxville in the ring, dude.
Yeah, literally.
You come out here like, I got nothing to complain about. That'll hit.
Yo, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, I think New York probably has like. Well, though, I just hit up a friend because I'm going back soon, and I was like, oh, can I do some spots? He goes, we got shut down. I go, what happened? He's like, cops. I was like, oh, I don't think half these places are legal. We opened a club. I'm like, was that an abandoned building? You just put a curtain up?
So is there like a griminess to New York comedy almost?
Yeah.
Kind of like how it was back in the day? Yeah.
Yeah, there's that griminess. I love New York comedy is my favorite. Like if I could move a lot of New York to here, I would do that.
Yeah. It probably will happen in a few years.
I think there will be a bit of a trajectory here.
I remember there was a time where I was at an open mic and a guy ordered Chinese takeout to the open mic, and the guy biked there, and it's like winter, so like they have the whole outfit. He biked there, got out. He goes, order for Jordan. The guy goes, yeah, and then he sat down, waited 3 comics, and then the Chinese delivery guy got up and did a set. Because he's also a comic, and then left. What the fuck? It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
It was Hans Kim, actually.
Yeah. Whoa.
And actually, I remember the comedian because he was really funny, and he's like doing well now.
Oh.
Shout out to him, man.
Not delivering Chinese food no more, dog.
Yeah, well, he might be.
Yeah, New York is expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I was there, because I do think that my comedy changed living there for so long, because it just gets like much faster.
Yeah. You get sharper.
A lot. Like, because you have the mics when you start are like, the shortest mic I've done is a minute. The longest is probably 2.5 minutes. And so you're either doing premises or you're doing tags, basically. And you're just running through it real quick. And so like it just teaches you to trim the fat.
Is that why everybody's so fast out there? Because when you're starting off, you only get fucking 2 minutes on stage.
Otherwise, you have to pay. It's like $5 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's just really a waste of time, because it really does teach you how to write for jokes, like as opposed to just like, moving around and writing around the joke and not getting to the point. And it's just like I appreciate the speediness of that.
Yeah.
Whereas I think LA does it differently. They're more into like the storytelling part of it and the performance part, and we're into like the jokes and stuff.
Well, I also think what you did was smarter, where you started in Chicago.
Yeah.
When you didn't know what you were doing, and then you came with like experience. I started in New York. And so I was going up at these like sucker mics. No one was paying attention. And then I just left feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
Like, this is the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
I hated starting off in LA, dog. Especially I was living in a car and shit too. So I would just feel terrible about myself and then go and sleep in the back of my car. Just
Can't
like,
even stand up in your own home.
This is great. This is great. I have to piss at 3:00 in the morning, and I gotta I don't have any more water bottles. Now I gotta go behind this tree and be quiet about it. Oh, I love comedy so much. Yeah, starting in LA sucked, but it gave me thick skin though. It made me kind of not give a fuck about how other people felt in regards to what I was doing on stage and stuff. But I cried a lot.
LA's weird. Something that's always stood out to me in LA is when I went for 3 days. I went to one open mic. There was a guy there who was acting like Barry Big Balls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, how you doing? And he's like,
great
hey.
comic, by the way.
And he's like, hey, have you heard of me? I was like, no. He goes, check out my Kill Tony set. And I'm like, okay. And it's literally a 3-minute open mic. He sets up a camera. He takes his audio recorder, plugs it into the main board, goes up on stage, bombs. It wasn't even just a bomb. It was like someone left their phone on the stool. And he goes, whose fucking phone is this? Whoosh, launches it across the room. It shatters on the ground, and he goes, that's what I do to that. And everyone else in the room's like, fuck you, asshole.
Oh my God.
He goes, well, that didn't work. Anyway, I've been so-and-so. Check out my Kill Tony set. And then he walks off stage.
LA has a bunch of fucking psychopaths.
It's like they all think they're famous.
Yeah.
New York, everyone thinks they're David Tell, so they're just sitting in a hoodie up against the brick wall. They're like little poets. And LA is all Sebastian, hey, how you
I remember
doing?
there's this one Jamaican dude in LA, and he would just scream into the mic the whole time. And his whole set was about how he would only hit on white dudes that had girlfriends. And then he's screaming this thing the whole time. He's and then I fuck these white boys in the ass. And, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And
pretty good bit.
3-4 minutes straight, but he didn't do anything else. He just talked about fucking white dudes in the butt that had girlfriends. Yeah.
I think I've heard Colton do that a couple times.
And Kojak.
Yeah.
Yeah. LA's a bunch of crazy people, though. I have a love-hate relationship with LA. The city is complete shit. The opportunities and some of the shows out there are absolutely incredible and stuff, but the city of LA is a shithole. It's a cesspool of just a bunch of lost, sad, lonely, but very, very self-centered, superficial type of people that don't even want to do comedy. Most of the comedians in LA.
Yeah, they went there 5 for acting. Basically, they just want one more skill, is what I hear a lot. I don't know.
Well, a lot of the thing about LA comedy is a lot of people will be acting and stuff, and then their manager or agent will be like, you should try stand-up comedy. It's a great opportunity to meet people and do. So then you got a bunch of actors that are just trying it because their fucking manager told them to do it, and then they figure out how to do at least a solid enough 5.
And bump everyone from show.
Yeah, and then they get a fucking deal on a movie, and they're like, oh, fuck comedy. That's pretty much what Chris Tucker did. Mm-hmm. He just, because he only has 10 minutes of stand-up outside of his special that he did in 2014 when he was much older, but he only had those 2 Def Jam sets out, and that was enough to make him fucking Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know if you want to do that, Drew, but I wish Chris Tucker so bad would have released an hour special in the 90s. That would have, I feel like, changed a lot of shit.
It's a lot of work to come up with an hour.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were like doing it, I feel like it will just come naturally, you know? How long did it take for you to get your first hour?
I don't know, because I don't know what my first hour is, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you mean like...
Well, when were you like, yo, I can do an hour of comedy?
Probably like... Like year 6.
Year 6? Yeah.
But I liked of the hour, half of it.
Yeah.
But and then the other half, I was like 15. I was like, I'm never gonna. I hate this shit.
Yeah.
And then 15, I was like, I think I could make this better. You know.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, you're like a joke machine, which is so funny watching her talk to like younger comics when they're like, "Oh, I got this killer new bit," and she's like, "Okay, let's hear it."
And then
like when you're doing the show where comics were going up and doing
Power Hour, they get so
Hour.
mad.
They got so
Do you
mad.
do
at
that
her.
anymore? That
No,
show
they
is
got
so
too mad.
Oh.
That's the
I love
difference
doing that
between
show.
New York and Austin is Power Hour is a show where we have a comic on stage drinking. In Austin, I'm on stage too because it goes off the rails very early. And so I'll be on stage too, and I'll interrupt also, but the comic on stage drinking, and then we have open micers come up and they do their set, and they're interrupted to get like tags or like this joke sucks or like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Where is this going? Or or this is funny and whatever.
I missed that show. I did it.
You did it.
Okay,
and-
so I did it
well,
one time.
but here it's the comics get so angry with me specifically when a guy can interrupt and they'll be fine, but I interrupt and they're like, I was just about, or that was my punchline, or I was gonna say that, and and they get livid.
It's hilarious.
And I stopped doing it because they're just I
wish you still did it.
left
I remember
feeling mad.
when I was a guest one time. One of my friends, Joe McNamara, I said something. He goes, "Jordan, I thought we were friends, man."
So sensitive. In New York, it's like it turns into fun banter back and forth, and it's the most fun. And here, it's just like sad boys leave the stage crying.
I had a blast. I got so drunk doing the fucking show. I ended up drinking like 14 or 15 Modelo's. I was just like taking them back, and I was like cool the entire show. And I'll never forget. Show's over. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home. Call a Lyft. I remember it was $12.47, and I remember being in the back of this African dude's car, and we get on the highway, and I'm like, bro, can we roll down the window? He goes, I'm on the highway, and I was like, all right, dog, whatever. Wake up the next day, and every time I go into my bathroom, I just like, it smells like throw up. And I'm like, oh fuck, like, but I'm looking around, no puke anywhere. I'm like, bro, it smells like puke in here. And then probably around like 4 p.m. I go to the bathroom again. It still smells like throw up. And I pulled the shower curtain back and I took a shit in my bathtub. Being so, I was blacked out drunk. I guess because it was at the edge of the tub. So I thought that I was sitting on the toilet, but I was sitting on the edge of my bathtub. And I just took a fat ass shit from being outrageously drunk from your show. Yeah.
At least you were in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I didn't like shit on the ground because I would have woken up and been like, nigga, what the fuck is your problem? The bathtub, I was like, okay, you thought it was a toilet. I can't be mad at you for that.
Yeah, we've
had
had a lot
logical
of
thought.
people tell us some wild shit when they leave as the drinker. Yeah,
because you're just supposed to, you just drink the entire fucking time, and it's like, what, an hour and a half, like 2 hours?
Yeah, well, in New York, we would have like 60 people sometimes sign up for this shit, and it would just be. We've had people throw up on stage. We've had people fall off of the stage. It started in Chicago. Actually, it started probably 10 years ago, honestly, 10 or 11 years ago in Chicago with these guys like Chris Damon is one of the original founders of Power Hour. And they still, I think they still do it there. And it's just.
It's such a fun show. I want you to bring it back because honestly, one of the highlights of the show for me was being in the audience or being on stage as the drinker, just seeing like these white dudes like get on stage with so much confidence and they just get so pale within like the first like 15 seconds when you say some shit to them, and like all their confidence just gets fucking thrown out the window.
Well,
and
that's
they don't
the
know
thing,
how to
right?
handle it.
Like, you don't think you're gonna drink that much, and then you're on stage and this guy goes like, "So horse today," and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. I think white people should say the N-word. God, fuck. I remember somebody said that one time, and Amy was like, "Get off stage."
I do. I get so, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to give you this time. Bye.
Nice.
Well, it also is wild to me, like, how many white dudes specifically are like, "Dude, I need to write a joke so good that I can say the N-word," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm staying as far away from that as possible."
Why is that your goal? Why don't you just write a good joke one time and then maybe move forward from there?
They're like, if Louis can do it, I can do it, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. I don't know what the obsession
Louis didn't
is.
even do it till he was like how far into his career?
Yeah, that shit is weird to me because I've been in like some green rooms and it's a bunch of white dude comics and they start talking about the N-word and I'm like, do y'all like just do this because there's a black person in here, or do y'all do this by yourself? Like, what's y'all's
They do it by
infatuation?
themselves too. They love to say it. They love to try to figure out how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange.
That's weird. That's why Jimmy is our producer, because he's a good
I'm
one.
terrified of that one. I like my life.
Jimmy's like, I'll do all the Asian accents I want.
Oh yeah, I'm
Never touch an N-word.
Bro, the Asian accent was the best thing that ever happened to Shane's career.
I heard a guy the other day tell a black man that he couldn't say the N-word. And I was like,
God.
sir, you are in the wrong lane.
Yeah, I would get banned on PlayStation for saying it. Calling
You
other
would?
players. Yeah. Like if you type it out, like, nigga, please. And then bands like, fuck, yo.
I wish I could call these people on Mario Kart niggas, but they just got hello.
Yeah.
I'm leaving now. Good game.
They don't allow for the person.
Trying to talk shit. Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring it back once and see how it goes. I just think people are going to be so...
Please do. Well, now there's like a whole new breed of...
sensitive boys.
Well, that and comics in Austin, and so I don't know how these new people can handle it at all. That would be actually incredible.
Well, you
to
think
see
they'd be used to it from like Kill Tony and shit, but
No, because I feel like Kill Tony is different, because Kill Tony you do a minute and then you just interview with them, and this is just straight comedy where we just
being
give tags
interrupted
and,
and stuff too.
and like talk about your joke and that's it. Like the whole thing, it's not, I don't want to hear about your family life. I don't give a fuck. Like, we're just talking about joke. We're
'Cause
joke
to me, like,
shopping.
that's the better
that's
version.
all we're doing
Yeah,
is
'cause
joke shopping. Yeah.
I'd rather do just comedy on Kill Tony than an interview where I'm like, fuck.
Like I always enjoyed signing up for Power Hour because I still have tags that I've used to this day that I've gotten from like doing your show, because like I was like, oh, this helps because I write while I'm on stage and shit too, and so that just kind of
I interrupt and give tags all the time, and people will be like, I was talking. Like, what the
it's
fuck?
not the point of the fucking show. Why'd you sign up for this shit?
They'll get, that's the thing that drives me nuts is I'll watch somebody sit in the audience for 45 minutes and then they come up, get interrupted once, and they're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you've been sitting. Do you think
that
you're so good?
This is the best joke. Doesn't need any help at all.
That you need no say. Your first time.
Yeah, I was gonna fucking say that. Okay.
When? Next time.
Next time.
Well, it's also like
my second time.
So many of the comics are like these incel-y dudes, so they'll go up and they'll just start bashing women, but they won't have punchlines. So it's like when they talk to their friends and tell them, they're like, that is so funny. It's true. They do that. And then Amy's like, when was the last time you spoke to a woman?
I'm like, is it me? Yeah, they do, and they'd be like, it just gets so mad.
Yeah.
I'll give punches and I'll be like, what about this? And they'll be like, no. Be like, okay.
The best is though is when you'll say the tag and people will laugh and then they'll say no. They're like, no, that's not funny.
Was it? Right?
That's funny, yo. That's good.
I remember coming here in a comic. One of the first times I came here, a not black comic was bragging. He was like, I went up and I said the N-word in a joke and it fucking murdered. And I was like, oh. It's like, how many times have you done it? He's like, once. And I was like, you should do it again. And then we did Power Hour, and then he came up and he wasn't doing it. And I was like, what's your new joke? And I think that's the last time he did that joke.
Yo.
It was.
Have you ever been in the crowd when somebody said the N-word on stage?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah, not one of
Have you?
One of these white dudes.
What would you do?
Fuck, it was a mic at Roma Room, and one of the comics just they bit off either it was Jim Norton or Bill Burr that has the joke about taking their black girlfriend to see their grandmother or something like that, and it was like, don't let that nigger in here or something like that, and he did the joke, and I was like, what?
Well, he stole and did the.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, I've heard this joke before, and I just was very obnoxious, like, oh, it's so fucking funny, and like niggas was so like scared of me, and I was like, why y'all scared of me for? I'm just fucking with him, but yeah, it was. Yeah.
When there was a guy who said the N-word, a white guy who said the N-word at a mic in New York, and he immediately got punched in the face on stage.
Oh yeah.
By a comic or by an
By a
audience
comic.
member? Nice.
Yeah, it was at an open mic, and that's what I think should happen. I don't know.
Got punched by an Asian comic.
But it's like, that's a consequence.
You know what the fuck you're doing?
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that video.
Yeah.
What? Oh my gosh!
I don't even think his name was spread around. People were just like, yeah, and they're like, who? And everyone's like,
Yeah.
That's funny. I remember the very first time I ever met Amy was at Mike at Luster Pearl in East Austin, and I did a joke about the McRib and Drake being Jewish, and immediately Amy got on stage after me and goes, shouts out to the anti-Semitic black dude, and I felt so bad. My heart was broken. I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck have I done? I thought this was just a good, like, harmless joke, but allegedly, like, this woman thinks I'm anti-Semitic.
Wait, say the joke again.
It's I think I compared Drake to the McRib. Like, the McRib, like, comes out like a few times a year. Drake releases music only a few times a year. And then it's like, when you eat the McRib, you take a bite of McRib, you go, damn, I don't even know if this is a rib. And then when you listen to Drake, you go, damn, this nigga's Jewish. And you call me anti-Semitic for that joke.
We can rap. Presents. We can rap presents. Also, we have the Beastie Boys.
I stopped doing that joke.
They can wrap up insurance bundles.
It's such like an innocent joke. I'm like, you bitch.
Yeah, and then we became friends, What time are we at, Jimmy? Did we hit an hour?
Let's see.
It's 1:54.
Yeah.
58.
58. God damn.
Amy, have you seen the Barbie movie?
No.
We gotta talk about it. Oh, you haven't seen it?
We
I
watched
haven't.
it.
I'm sorry.
Me and Jordan watched it yesterday.
Was it good?
It's very depressing.
It was super depressing. One of the most depressing movies. Because literally, Barbie, she has a moment where she goes, y'all ever think about dying? And then she's all this whole existential, like, crisis wave, the whole movie about thinking about death and dying and shit.
Oh, and aging?
Yeah.
No, just dying in general, really. Because her life is so perfect. She's Barbie. Her life is so perfect. And she's like, it's like this every day. Like,
but didn't they bring an older Barbie into the mix? Like,
no, they have the creator Barbie there.
Oh.
I mean, there's all types of Barbies. There's like multiple kinds of Barbies. And they talked about Barbies that that Mattel had to, what is it when they stopped?
Oh, they discontinued.
Discontinued.
So
they had like a pregnant Barbie. They're like, yeah, that wasn't a good.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
Look.
Yeah, Barbies can't be fat.
I can't imagine you were a Barbie girl.
I
feel like
wasn't.
You were more of a Bratz girl.
I wasn't that either. I wasn't a doll girl. My dad made me a dollhouse, but the floors were too short
for Barbie,
and so I had to take their heads off to fit. So I wasn't a doll person after
What's
that.
worse, taking their heads off or sawing them at the legs?
I think there's a lot less work in taking their heads off.
Yeah, you can just pop it off. Saw, you got to pull stuff out. Like,
you got to find a saw.
Well, I just built the saw.
I'm like, I'm 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever tried to saw plastic? It's not the easiest.
Yeah, but if you just built a dollhouse.
I didn't build the dollhouse. You think my dad's gonna solve?
Saw some Barbies. Yeah.
Oh God!
Imagine people. Imagine my friends coming over to play. They're like, "What happened to their feet?"
Amy, look, I'm like,
diabetes.
Call me Daddy Copperfield.
None of your Barbies have knees. This is scary. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Do you have
I grew up with brothers, and we just like roughhoused and
how many
played
brothers?
outside a lot.
How many siblings do you have?
2. I'm in the middle.
Oh, you're just one of 3. Okay. Do y'all all y'all fuck with each other?
Yeah. We're all like very good friends. We're all very close. I'm close with their wives. Like it's great.
Oh hell yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Were you nervous before they got married that they were going to be with some like annoying women?
No, I picked out my brother's wife. My older brother had like horrible taste in women.
Sisters will be honest with you, yo. I have a deep appreciation for my sisters. They're the same way. Y'all don't give a fuck. You're like, no. Fuck
I was, and my older brother's very like he's very family oriented. He wants to make sure that we like all are friends and get along. And he introduced me to this one girl, Karen. Oh, she was the worst, and she showed up super late and like all in a huff, and then she was like. We were at a bar and Scott was like really excited to introduce me to her. He's like, Amy, Karen, Amy. And she just looks at me. She goes, hi. And then she goes and turns to complain more. And I was behind her and I go, she didn't even know she was done. I was like, nah, she's not here anymore.
Karen, so you watching this shit. Yeah, you got cut. You got cut, son.
Did they marry other Jewish women?
Yeah, they did. They met them at this sleepaway Jewish camp.
What?
Very, very Jewishy way to meet. Well, my
There's
older brother had
Jewish
just
camps?
yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Jordan's
you didn't know this?
Yeah.
Jordan is in, yeah.
Bro, Jewish people love summer camp.
Yeah, it's like a take back the night thing, you know? We took back camps, made them fun.
What the fuck?
Yo, Jordan's like, I missed out on everything. Have you ever heard of
the Catskills? Like back in the day when comics would go to the Catskills to perform?
No.
Or Dirty Dancing, like that, area. Like that's where summer camps are. Like we had Camp Sabra in the Lake of the Ozarks. That's where I was.
What?
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
What the fuck?
But both of my brothers met their wives there. But my older brother had just gone through a breakup, and I was like, I'll find your wife. And he was like, I'm good. And I was like, you're not, though. You pick like women for the wrong reasons. And I was like, you're not. Like just looks alone you're gonna age, and then they're gonna be ugly and no personality, and like woof.
Do they have those camps for adults?
No, no.
I'm trying to find me a sweet Jewish woman.
I'll find you one.
Sweet curly-headed
sweet
Jewish
and
woman.
Jewish.
Yes. Well, sweet in terms of she's not going to swing on me.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Jewish women won't swing on you.
All right, cool.
No, they'll break you down though.
No, we won't break you down. You will be a doctor by the time we're done. But we won't. We'll build you up.
Do you know what I said the other day? That they had
I need that.
Neither Jordan nor Daniel had any idea what I was talking about.
What?
I was like, so and so. Yeah, she's a Jap.
Oh yeah.
They were like, "Whoa, what does that mean?"
That makes me uncomfortable to hear that. I'm like,
because it sounds like it's gonna be bad.
We thought he was going in on Japanese people.
Blondie should not be saying it.
Jewish American princess.
Jewish American princess. That's what I need. Oh.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of comics here that aren't Jewish do a lot of Jewish material, but they spit the word the Jews. They like say it like that, and I'm like, I know how you're saying it. It's not gonna be a good joke. It's like. If you say Jewish people, I'm like, all right, let's see where it's going. But they're like, the Jews, and I'm like, that's gonna be bad. That's
like
gonna
they're
be bad.
doing like some like county speech. The Jews
are responsible.
Hear ye.
Get rid of them.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the Jews.
No, on behalf of the not Jews. About the Jews. Like, wow.
There's also WASPs.
Wasps?
White Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's too much.
That's why we say WASPs.
That's like just typical white
niggas?
America,
Kennedys.
middle of white America.
Kennedys are
WASPs.
Yeah.
Wasps. Okay. So is there a bunch of wasps in Kansas?
Yeah. We call them voters. Single party vote, single issue voters. This is what we call them.
Yo.
How did your family end up in Kansas?
Long story short, Russia and Romania to New York to St. Louis to Kansas. But my dad went to, my parents grew up in St. Louis, and then they when my dad was thinking about where he wanted to open his practice, it was between Chicago and Kansas City, and I think Kansas City was just the easier move, basically, to like raise a family and
better barbecue too.
Much better barbecue, but Chicago does have. I mean, it's Chicago, so the food is like insane.
I've been to Chicago, but I just was there for work. I didn't have any like real good food or anything.
Oh, really?
I had some deep dish. Yeah.
I don't like the pizza there.
That's cool.
Well,
It gave me the
compared
bubble
to New
guts,
York,
but you know, it is what it is.
I don't think
What's
pizza is the best way to
Chicago?
judge a
What's
city.
the food? What's the shit where you're like, yo, this is the business?
Ooh, I think you can judge Chicago spots by the jardiniere that they have in there. If it's like a like hot dog spot, or if it's like just a fancy restaurant. Ooh, I really like this spot called Gilt, Gilt. It's so good. And there's a spot on Diversey with crab legs called Half Shell. You're not allowed to wear a hat there, and they only take cash, but it's like a family spot. They'll just yell at you.
Is it a black-owned place or no?
No, it's a white. It's like a white Irish place kind of. It's just been there since like the 50s probably, but they'll be yeah, they're great though. There's so much good food in Chicago. It's just everywhere.
Yeah. Whenever I think of Chicago, I think of the Chris Farley sketch where he's like, "Oh no, he's getting another heart attack. This fifth one this year."
The Bears.
Damn, I gotta get a Chicago glizzy. Pause.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go to Wiener Circle.
Yeah.
The Piggly Wiggly.
The Piggly Wiggly. Y'all got Piggly Wigglies in Chicago?
Nah, there's no Piggly Wiggly in Chicago.
No, the Wrigley Field. There's a place outside of Wrigley Field called like the Piggly Wiggly.
No, there's
Piggly
not.
Wiggly's a grocery store in small country towns.
What's it called? Something wrong. Piggly Wrigley?
I was like, nigga, what y'all know about Piggly Wiggly?
Wrigley Field is Chicago, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a hot dog spot. That was something along those lines.
Not the Wiener Circle?
The Wiener Circle's another one, but it was like
any town that has a Piggly
Maxwell
Wiggly
Street.
definitely has a meth problem.
A meth problem?
Yeah, if a town has a Piggly Wiggly grocery store, that town definitely has a meth problem.
There's no pig anything that I can think of.
I don't know.
In
It's been
Chicago,
a
but
couple
yeah,
years.
they do have great food.
They got good.
That's why in
pasta and shit
Austin, I want to
Chicago.
know where there's good spots to eat, because I'm like coming from Chicago, New York, and they're like, Austin's a mecca for food. I'm like, no, Austin just has food.
Yeah, no, those people are wrong.
I found. I recently haven't tried it, but I just recently found out about Schultz Garden, and it's a German pub, and they supposedly have really good brats and sauerkraut.
Oh, okay, I'll try.
I like brats. I'm a
Are you
bratwurst
talking about the one
fan.
on Rainey?
No, literally off of Red River.
Trying to write a joke about.
Yeah, Red River and I think
Jordan, come on.
12th Street
Read
or some
the
shit
room,
like that. My bad.
Read the room, bro.
Sorry,
German bar?
I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
No, it's about that joke I was saying earlier. We'll take it to the stage.
Yo, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything coming up? I know you got mad shows.
I'll be back in Vegas at the end of September. I'm going to be in New York in a couple weeks, so look for me in those two places. Cool. My album, Unbelievable, on all your streaming platforms.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
I'll link everything in the description.
Yeah. Oh, and then I'm starting The Most Expensive Joke up again. It's my podcast. It's about the time in a comic's life when they messed up the most, whether it's like emotional, issues, or financial, or like divorce, or other types of relationships. Mine stems from an arrest at LaGuardia Airport, like that cost me like over $5,000. So just like
real gangster shit.
Yeah. So we were gonna do it. I was originally gonna do it as a show in New York, and then the pandemic happened, so I did it like as a podcast. But now I'm gonna be starting it as a show here at the Creek in the Cave every first and third Sunday at 6 p.m. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Cool. And where can people find you on the enters of the net, social media?
On social media, I'm just at Amy Shanker everywhere. It's SHANKER, like a stabber.
Yo, thank you so much for joining. This has been a fucking blast.
Yeah, thank you.
Got to learn more about you. I have a deep appreciation for you. You're fucking hilarious. You're outrageously talented, and you've been an absolute wonderful person in my life, and we greatly appreciate having you on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
This has been Two Niggas in a Pod, greatest podcast in the motherfucking world.
Right here in the Creek in the Cave studios. I am one of your hosts, Daniel West. Thank you for joining us. Send me some thumb pics, I guess.
Thumb pics. All right, so we went from
titties to labias,
toes to
thumbs.
thumbs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Send them all into him.
Yeah.
It's just
have various body parts.
Just various body parts.
Apparently.
Yeah. Just small body parts, because it's not really considered a nude then if it's just like super up close.
Yeah.
I
just said, I've been saying on stage that my mom's name is Labia Majora, Labia Minora, and I'm like, I'm gonna make that merch.
Labia Majora is a crazy name. So
no, Labia Majora is my mother. I'm Labia Minora.
Yeah. Oh my
just
god!
A picture of y'all arm in arm, and then the labels.
I think I might be like Labia Minora is my Hebrew name.
Oh shit! Yo, I've been your other host, Jordan McDonald, the wonderful motherfucking unicorn, here in the Creek and Cave studio. Follow my shit, Jordan the Unicorn, everywhere. JordanTheUnixorn. Of course, fucking certified Irishman of the year.
What's up? Make sure to follow Tunap Show on Instagram. Also, Creek and Cave Studio on Instagram. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Creek and Cave Studio, and
and subscribe.
Yeah, and hit the alert button so you find out when we post.
Yes, sir.
That's
shit. It. Once again, Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is great.
Our Jewish Queen, Amy Shanker.
Shalom.
Here live, Tunap. Peace, love, and soul, everybody.
Peace.